Welcome to the 11th session of Secrets of Spirituality. In the yesterday's session, I had told about the general textbooks that are written by the ancient seers in the field of yoga. All of them are in Sanskrita. All those textbooks which I mentioned yesterday are in Sanskrita. They were written in Sanskrita. So to some extent, if people have to seriously get into the science of yoga, or if they have to really understand fully the science of yoga, the knowledge of Sanskrita also becomes necessary. Now, that may not be the case with every general aspirant. For that matter, later on, many other holy people and yogis, they had written many other books in the vernacular languages as well as in the English language. Out of all the books which I have learned or studied, now I am telling 7 books which everyone must read. Whether the person is a yogic aspirant or not, whether the person is a philosophically bent one or not, it does not matter. Anyone can read these 7 books. Even children can read, even adults can read. Even married people can read, unmarried people can read. People who belong to any faith system can read these books. And in whatever way they can digest, let them digest. They may not be able to understand fully about whatever these 7 books are actually depicting, but at least they will come to a conclusion that whatever they know as of now is actually a tip of the iceberg, and whatever they want to know about their own life, they still have to know a lot about their own life. Let them not know about spirituality, let them not know about yoga, let them not know about God also. But each one has to know about their own life at least, right? Now, if they read any of these 7 books or they read all of these 7 books, I'm sure that at least to some extent, the materialistic attitude will change towards a spiritual attitude. The ego that is increasing day by day, at least will not increase that way later on. At least let it remain as it is as of now. If possible, let the ego get reduced. The arrogance that is taking up the personality, let that arrogance be reduced. And that arrogance will be definitely if people read at least these 7 books. I'll be telling one of them one by one. The first book which I am going to tell, remarkable classical work, that is this particular book called Autobiography of a Yogi. This has been kept as a reference book in so many universities all over the world. But I really don't know whether the Indian universities have kept this book as a reference book or not. This is a remarkable book of Mahatar Babaji and his disciple Lahiri Mahashaya and his disciple Swami Yukteswar Giri and his disciple Paramahamsa Yogananda. It is not just about the life of Paramahamsa Yogananda. He writes about his own life, he writes about his own guru, he writes about his own Paramaguru, and he writes about his own Parameshti Guru. Let me relate one incident which is mentioned in this particular book. Lahiri Mahashaya was working in Calcutta. He was in a well-settled job. He was transferred to now whatever is called as Uttar Pradesh. And after his transfer, he shifted from Calcutta to that particular place where he was transferred. One day evening, Lahiri Mahashaya went for a walk. He was alone. When he was walking near a particular hill, he suddenly heard somebody calling his name. And he thought, who knows me here? I came from Calcutta to this place. I was transferred. And who knows me here? He was really curious. He went all the way. And inside a cave there, one person who was looking like a 25-year-old man, he looked at this Lahiri Mahashaya and he smiled at him. And the person told, I was the one who was calling you. Now Lahiri Mahashaya saw this person. This person was very young and Lahiri Mahashaya was old. He had crossed his middle age. And Lahiri asked him, how do you know me? I have been transferred from Calcutta to here and I don't know anybody here. How do you know me? And how did you call my name? Now this 25-year-old person says, I am your guru in your previous life. And I actually took a decision to get you transferred from Calcutta to this place so that you will be in contact with me once again. Lahiri did not believe this. But then the person told, you will have to believe me. I was the one who had an intention that you will come back in contact with me. That is why it is me who decided to have you transferred here. It may be your authorities transferring you from the Calcutta job to this particular job, and you may be thinking that it is your higher authorities who take a decision, but I had influenced their mind to take this particular decision. And now I have called you. I only had inspired you to have a walk towards this area so that I'll call you and you will meet me. Now Lahiri asked, who are you? Then the person told, I have been called by my disciples as Babaji, and some people also call me Mahavatar Babaji. You don't have to worry much about what I am. You will have to learn from me about what you are. There are some unfinished tasks which were there in your previous life, and in this life those tasks have to be fulfilled, and gradually you will have to continue the tradition of initiating people into the path of yoga. Now Lahiri did not really believe whatever this person was telling. Now that person who called himself as Babaji told him, come back again tomorrow. Anyhow, I am going to inspire you to come here again. Tomorrow evening when you come back, you will have some other vision here. So later on, Lahiri had one more intuitive feeling that he has to go back to that particular place where he saw this person in a cave. Next day, after the evening, during the nightfall, when he went there, Lahiri did not see the cave. He was seeing a brightly lit palace there. And inside the palace, there were so many people moving around there. And when Lahiri entered into the palace, he was ushered towards a throne there. And Lahiri sat in the throne. And for the whole night, Lahiri enjoyed as if he is an emperor or a king. Almost for the full night. Lahiri himself was in a different realm altogether. But gradually, Lahiri went into deep sleep. When he woke up, palace was not there. Cave was there. And the person who had met him on the previous day was in front of him, smiling at him. Now Lahiri, when he woke up, he asked, where is the palace? Where are my servants? Now Babaji told, there is no palace, there are no servants. That was all an illusion which I created for you. Because in your last life, you had a great desire that you should one day live like a king or an emperor. So I created that particular palace here through my own supernatural powers, and I made you enjoy, at least for one night, the life of a king or an emperor, so that that unfinished desire is being fulfilled now, at least in an unrealistic way. Now, Lahiri, you don't get caught with all those types of mundane or materialistic desires. You will have to grow up now. You will have to become a great yogi now. Now, whatever was unfinished task in the previous life has to be completed in this life now. So you must be ready for that. Whatever was the hidden desire in your memory, that is being fulfilled now, even though it was an illusion, that blockage has been cleared by me. Now, you will have to take a fresh initiation from me, and you will have to continue the task which was not fulfilled in your previous life. Now, Lahiri had no doubt at all in his mind that the Babaji was the Guru in his previous life, and the Babaji will be the Guru in the present life as well. My dear listeners, you will have to read this book. In whichever language you are comfortable, you can buy this book, and you will have to read this book fully. Now, while reading this book, you may develop so many doubts, you may develop so many queries, you may keep asking, is it possible, is it impossible? All those questions. For all those questions, gradually, either in this life or in your next lives, you will have all the answers. If you have believed in my words till now, then you already have all those answers. This book is not going to convince anybody about whatever is written there. In fact, the holy masters or the spiritual people need not convince anybody for that matter. In that way, even I need not convince any of you for that matter. It is not my job. My job here is to educate, and here my interest or my intention is not to develop a false impression about something which I don't know. Whatever I speak here is whatever I already know. The same way, when you read all these 7 books, all these 7 books are wonderful books in their own way. All these 7 books are the biography of one or the other person in the same way, but these are not general biographies. These are basically special biographies, spiritual biographies. In fact, it is the biographies of spiritual people. The very first book is this particular book called Autobiography of a Yogi. This is the first book written by Paramahamsa Yogananda. Now the second book, Living with the Himalayan Masters, written by Swami Rama. This is another wonderful book. Now, if I have to tell you about this particular book, one couple, they did not have any children, and they were seriously aspiring for a child. One day, one sadhu came in front of their house, and sadhu immediately told this couple, actually they were aged, they had crossed their middle age. The sadhu told this couple that I know that you are aspiring for a child. If I bless you that you will get a child, will you give me that child after about 7 years? Now, this immediately they said, all right, they agreed. They were thinking that at least because of the blessing of a sadhu, they will get a child. Okay. And they thought, after 7 years, he is going to ask us, right? Whether this sadhu will remember it or not, we don't know. Whether he will come back or not, we don't know. Let us agree at least now. So they agreed. And sadhu blessed. And the sadhu told, you will have a male child and you will have to name the child as Rama. And after 7 years, I'll come back. And the sadhu went away. The lady became pregnant and the lady delivered a male child, and the child was named as Rama. And the couple never thought that the sadhu will come back. But after 7 years, one day the same sadhu came back and he told, "Give me back my child." Now the couple were crying. The couple told, "It is our child, how can we give it to you?" Then sadhu told, "It is not your child. It is me who blessed you to have your child. It is basically my child. And I had told you that I will be taking the child. And you had agreed." The couple kept on crying. Now sadhu told, "Look, my dear people, this child is going to become a great yogi. He is going to show the spiritual path to so many people. That has been my intention. Now you will have to give this child to me so that I'll make him a great yogi. And he'll be a great boon to the spiritual science on this world." Finally, the couple agreed that if their son is going to become a great person, why not to give him to the sadhu? And that child grew up along with this guru. That was Swami Rama. And Swami Rama has written this very beautiful book called Living with the Himalayan Masters. You can watch the YouTube videos of Swami Rama as well. In one of the videos, Swami Rama says, one day they were walking adjacent to the Himalayan mountains, both his guru and Swami Rama. They were walking. Suddenly, from one of the mountains, there was an avalanche effect. Avalanche effect means from the top of the mountain, the particles start falling down, and gradually these particles will pick up mass and it will become a much bigger mass. So they definitely knew that they cannot run away now. Only these two people were going along a path, and Swami Rama definitely knew that they cannot escape this avalanche effect now. So Swami Rama suddenly shouted at his guru, and guru turned back and he saw this avalanche effect coming from the top. The guru simply raised his hand towards that mass which is coming from the top, and he simply said, And that mass stopped there. And they kept on walking. Swami Rama was wondering, how come one sound called from his guru's mouth and his simple gesture of his hand, how could it stop that particular mass? Swami Rama was flabbergasted. And they crossed the distance. After they crossed the distance, when they were under a safe region, again the guru lifted his hand and again he told one more sound, and the mass started coming down. And now Swami Rama says in his YouTube video, many times when my guru makes a sound and only I should understand what it may mean now. Now that was his guru's spiritual power. All these holy people, they could access the natural forces and they could manipulate the natural forces because they were basically spiritual embodiments. Now it is up to you to believe this or to discard this. It is up to you. There are so many questions for which you will not get logical answers as such, because when you have not understood your own self, how will you understand the hidden dimensions of nature? When people are accustomed to think and to believe the only happenings that are available to the sensory inputs, if you say that whatever you see is real, whatever you hear is real, now reality is having multiple dimensions. That is when Jesus Christ says in the Bible that my father's house has many mansions. His father's house is this universe, and this universe has many mansions. You remaining at the lowermost mansion, how can you understand the highermost mansion? So before questioning the veracity of all these books, better understand your own self first. Better understand the divinity that is within you first. And I should tell you promptly, politely, honestly that you should not question the writings of the Holy Masters. We don't have the authority to question the truthfulness of the Holy Masters. If at all I have to tell you my own example, let us say I teach one course in the engineering college where I teach a course called Information Theory and Coding presently, and I also teach one more course called Analog Electronic Circuits presently. One to the 5th semester students and one to the 3rd semester students. Now, when I keep on discussing the technical concepts or engineering concepts in both of these courses, do you think that the students should keep on asking me questions about, sir, is it real? Is it true? Is it real? Is it true? If they keep on asking me, is it real? Is it true? Now, will I be able to teach them? If they keep on asking me for each and every sentence which I utter from my mouth for a technical discussion, for an engineering discussion, if the students keep on asking me, show us the proof, show me the proof, show us the proof, show me the proof, is it possible for me to show them the proof? Now, they have no other option than to simply believe in me. Proof will come gradually through their own experimentation, right? Now, in the same way, we have no rights, we have no authority to question the Holy Scriptures. Those Holy Scriptures may be written in any language. We do not have the right or the authority to question the teachings of the Holy Masters. Now, if at all you have a doubt about who is a Holy Master, who is not a Holy Master, then you can verify that way. You can verify whether a person is holy or not, whether a person is spiritual or not. That way you can test me also. You can test me also about how is my lifestyle. Am I really living as per my own teachings, or am I really living as per whatever talks I am delivering right now? You can always test me. If you find that I am also living wrongly, then you can punish me also, provided if you get that chance. But I am not going to give you that chance. Why? Because I am living as per the spiritual principles only. I am following the holy lineage of my master, his master, his master. So that way, again I will tell why I am telling all these things. Because it is very easy for people to keep on questioning now. Anybody and everybody are questioning everything now, as if they know everything. In fact, people don't know much about the spiritual domain at all. For that matter, they really don't know about their own mind. How can they question all these things? Okay. Please read this second book also, Living with the Himalayan Masters. Now, if I have to keep on telling all the incidents that are narrated in all these books, that itself is going to become a bigger episode. So let me limit myself to one incident from each book. I have already told you one incident from Autobiography of a Yogi, next incident from Living with the Himalayan Masters. You can read all the chapters of all these books, all the 7 books. Let me move on to the third book now. Third book is Apprentice to a Himalayan Master, written by Shree M. Now, regarding this book, I had told many times in the previous sessions. And I have already told you that Shriyam is right now available for your interaction. You can simply send an email and you can book an appointment. And when the appointment is confirmed, you can simply move from Bangalore to Madanpalle. It is hardly 3 to 4 hours journey. And you can meet him on a Sunday morning. He will be very much available for interaction with you. Now, regarding this particular book, Apprentice to a Himalayan Master, I don't have to tell much, but one incident I will tell. One person called Madhukar Nath was practicing yoga under the guidance of one more person called Maheshwar Nath. And Maheshwar Nath's guru himself was the Sri Guru Babaji or Mahatar Babaji. He is the same Babaji who is mentioned in Autobiography of Yogi also. Now one day when this Madhukar Nath was meditating on a hillock, one particular Muslim person came all the way, and the Muslim person started asking this particular person, Madhukar Nath, to initiate into the spiritual path. Now Madhukar Nath told, I don't want to initiate anybody, I don't want to train anybody, I am busy in my own way, go back. Now this Muslim person who came there, he told, I have come a long way looking for you. Now, if you don't accept me, then I have no other option to die into the river, jump into the river and die. This Madhukar Nath, out of a simple negligence, told, do whatever you want to do. I am not interested in teaching or training anybody. Now, this Muslim person, out of desperation, simply jumped into the river and he died. When Madhukar Nath went back to meet his Guru, Guru told him, you have done a great mistake today. A spiritual aspirant came to you and you ignored him and he left his body by killing himself. Now, you have made a mistake. You don't know the agony or the pain which he was having in the particular faith system which he was following, where he could not get all the answers in that particular faith system. That is why he came to you. But you ignored him. Now, as a punishment, you also have to jump into the river and die now. And you will be born in a Muslim family now. Now, that is your punishment. When you are born in a Muslim family, then you will understand the limitations of those faith systems, and then you will again come back to the path of yoga and you will start teaching the path of yoga being in the Muslim faith system. Now this is my order. You will have to jump into the river and die. And that is how Madhukar Nath left his body, and the same Madhukar Nath was born into a Muslim family in Ernakulam, and his initial name was Mumtaz Ali Khan. Out of the sheer destiny or the will of his master appeared to him in the backyard of his house, and somehow through his own intuition, Mumtaz Ali Khan moved all the way to Badrinath, and he met his previous life's master, Maheshwar Nath, and he stayed with his guru for the next 4 years. Read this book, you will understand it. Now meet Shriyam, you will understand much better. When people asked him in an interview, why you call yourself as Shriyam, he says, my previous life's name was Madhukar Nath, my this life's name is Mumtaz Ali Khan, but basically that Yam stands for Manushya, I am a Manushya. He is a simple, down-to-earth, great master. This is the third book. Now coming to the fourth book, Doorways to Light, written by Krishnananda. Krishnananda and my Guru Narsimurti both were classmates under their Guru called Maharshi Amara. This Maharshi Amara was earlier called as Raja Ambaresh Varma. He belonged to the Gokak district and he was a well-to-do rich person. He was born in a rich family. After he came to Bengaluru, his house was in Kormangala and he used to take classes on every Sundays on the Saptarshi Marga, the path of 7 saints or 7 sages. That is a specific type of meditation on the 7 chakras. And there are other holy spiritual practices also added up into the practice. Now, my Guru had 2 Gurus. One was Maharshi Amara, other one was Dr. Swami Geetananda Giri. Krishnananda was my Guru's classmate in the classes that were conducted by Maharshi Amara. Krishnananda was also an industrialist at Anekal. Gradually, he used all his wealth to establish a spiritual center in a village called Chikkagubbi, very near to Bengaluru. You can visit this place whenever this lockdown is lifted. It's a very beautiful place where a big pyramid is built for meditation and a Kundalini tower is built for meditation and a beautiful garden is there where for 7 chakras, 7 small shelters are built where there also you can meditate. But in the front of this garden itself, there is a big board. Everybody is free to enter into this place, but only for meditation. Otherwise, people will go into the garden, they will have picnic, they will have outing, they will spoil the place. That place is very well maintained on a daily basis. Irrespective of whether people come or whether people do not come, the place is very well maintained. And there's a bookshop there, there are volunteers there, there are practitioners there, and you can buy many books written by Krishnananda himself. No charges in any way, no publicity in any way, no marketing in any way. They have also built a very beautiful meditation center about 2 kilometers away. They call it as Antarmanasa. And it's a small place compared to this Taponagara. Taponagara is in a village called Chikkagubbi. And after about 2 kilometers in the same road, there's a small place called Antarmanasa. If you go to Taponagara, they will guide you there. And in that Antarmanasa, again, there's a beautiful Egyptian style meditation hall. And there's a big tree. Below the tree, there's a large statue of Vishwamitra. But these are holy places where well-maintained buildings are there, well-maintained resources are there. But please understand, these resources are meant only for spiritual practice, only for meditation. If you are ready to go there and meditate there silently, any type of meditation you want to meditate, you can do. There is no custom that you will have to follow the Saptarshi Marga only. As I have been telling you, all the paths are leading to the same goal. And there are simple instructions already written there. You can follow those simple instructions also there. And in that garden which I mentioned, there are so many cave-like structures built. You can choose any one particular cave there. Whole day, morning till evening, you can stay there and you can meditate. And you can pack your lunch and go there also. There are facilities for having lunch as well. But you will have to maintain the place completely clean that way. It is only for spiritual practitioners and not for general public. And no one is asking you, why did you come? no one is going to ask you, what are you going to practice? That is the way Krishnananda had instructed, and that is the way Maharshi Amara had instructed Krishnananda. Now, this particular book, Doorways to Light, is about the life story of Maharshi Amara and the relationship of Maharshi Amara along with Krishnananda. This is one of the very special books. This book is available elsewhere also, or else it is available directly at Taponagara as well. You can search in the Google about the contact details, and if you want, you can personally go to this place also, if it is permitted now or else later on. Maharshi Amara was an astral traveler. In the sense, he used to leave his physical body and he used to have connections with the holy saints in the astral realms or in the subtle dimensions. And he used to initiate all of his students into the Saptarshi Marga. During his last days, one day, he was bedridden. Still, his face was not showing any agony or pain which his physical body was experiencing. He called my Guru Narsimurti and told him, from now on, you will have to continue whatever I have been doing. From now on, you have to initiate people into Saptarshi Marga. And that is how my Guru Narsimurti also continued the initiation of people into Saptarshi Marga. And parallelly, Krishnananda was also involved in the same activity. And Krishnananda's team used to visit many schools and they used to initiate students into a particular method called channeling of light. And even in Bangalore city, they have many centers. Here in Malleshwaram, at Himamshu Jyotikala Peetha, they used to have the center earlier. Now I don't know whether it is still active or not because of this lockdown. But they used to have the same center at Himamshu Jyotikala Peetha, where they used to initiate people into this channeling of light as well as into the Saptarshi Marga. Let me move on to the fifth book. The fifth book is Laws of the Spirit World, written by Khurshid Bhavnagari. And I have told you about this particular book in yesterday's session. I don't have to mention about this book again. But one thing, one word of caution, different books will tell about the spiritual realms in many different ways. And the authors who write these books, it is up to the level of these particular authors to relate it into the spiritual science and to depict it. Now, Paramahamsa Yogananda, Swami Rama, Shriyam, Krishnananda, they are all spiritual masters. And they have written their books based on their spiritual experiences or intellectual abilities. But Khurshid Bhavnagari was not a great spiritual aspirant. Neither her two sons. Her two sons were also not spiritual masters. But the departed two sons came in contact with the mother in the physical plane, and that is how information transfer happened from the subtle realm or the subtle dimension into the physical dimension. That particular activity which Khurshid Bhavnagari was doing every evening, sitting in a corner at the home with pen in the hand and with the notebook, that particular method is called as automatic writing in the occult domain. My sincere as well as serious advice to all my listeners is, you do not practice any such thing on your own. Just because Khurshid Bhavnagari did it, other people should not practice it on their own, because you really don't know what is going to be channeling through you. So that way we have to be very careful. Why I am telling these things is, Khurshid Bhavnagari came in contact with her own sons through her own intention. Now, if you try to experiment all these things, or try to run your own seances, or try to practice this automatic writing on your own, some other thing may come in contact with you and you may be at much bigger risk if you are not properly protected. That is why don't try all these experiments on your own. That will be much bigger risk. That way I am cautioning you. But when you read these laws of the spirit world, it has been written not by a spiritual master, and the information has not been transferred by the spiritual masters again. Whatever way sons understood it, and in whatever way the mother understood it, that way the book is written. But the proof of the other existence is evident through this particular book. Let me tell you my another experience which I had in the same ancestral house where I had listened to these sounds earlier. Let me tell you today my another experience. When my mother died, me and my wife and my brother, my younger brother, all of us had gone there for performing the after death rituals, and we were sleeping in that particular ancestral house. In the hall, we three had slept, and in the adjacent bedroom, my uncle and aunt were sleeping, and at the other side there was a kitchen, and in the middle there was a dining hall. That dining hall, after we had our supper, there's a small wooden door there. We generally close the door of the dining hall. Then we slept in the main hall, and my aunt and my uncle were sleeping in the bedroom. Around 2 or 2:30 at night, suddenly I heard a great sound from the dining hall, as if something fell down. And I immediately woke up. When I immediately woke up, immediately my brother also woke up. And I thought of rising up and seeing what was that sound. Immediately my brother told me, "No, stay, don't go, stay, don't go, stay." Because he was pressing me down, I kept quiet, I did not go. I slept again. My aunt and uncle did not wake up because fan was on in both the hall and in the bedroom. Because of the fan sound, maybe they would not have heard this sound. Their bedroom door was closed. Now I slept back. Morning when we woke up, immediately I went and opened that door of the dining room, and I saw what was that sound. What had happened was, my aunt in the previous evening had put some biscuits into a steel box, slightly larger steel box, and she had covered the lid there, and she had kept it on the table there. Now in the morning when we see that, the lid had fallen down, lid was about 4 to 5 feet away, and the box was open, and there were biscuits inside the box. Even today we don't know who opened that biscuit box. Now you don't tell me, because you are all skeptic listeners, you don't tell me, "Sir, because of some pressure, that steel lid would have come out." Now, if there are mechanical engineers who are listening to me, you will have to please tell me, out of the pressure inside the steel box, can the lid fall 4 to 5 feet away? That is one question. Okay. Second question is, the box was kept on a big wooden table and the lid was falling 4 to 5 feet on the ground. Now it requires some tremendous pressure to open this box. We were only 5 people staying in or living in that house at that time. There was nobody else. 3 were in the hall, 2 were in the bedroom. The complete windows were closed. All the doors were closed. Who opened that steel box? Now you don't have to get afraid, my dear listeners. You don't have to feel afraid. As I've been telling you earlier, in that ancestral house, even now, such sounds keep coming. Such incidents keep happening. But no one is harmed. No one is harmed. But this is a proof that existence remains in the other realms or in the other occult domains. And that is for sure. The proof of the pudding is in eating it, which means until you people experience such things, you people will remain skeptic. So I should say that maybe when you people die, then you people may become ghosts, you people may become ancestors, you people may become angels, you people may become rishis. We don't know. Based upon your own evolution, you may remain that way. Then that is your proof, I should say. What else can I say? That's why I've been telling you, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. That is a time-tested, foolproof system for gradually going from the physical dimension to the mental dimension to the spiritual dimension. The people have accomplished it. They have become spiritual masters. Now you may ask, how come Khorshad Bhavnagari had such experiences? Now, my dear listeners, Khorshad Bhavnagari was not a great spiritual master. At the same time, she was not a wicked lady also. She was not an evil lady also. She was a down-to-earth Farsi lady. She was a good lady. And she and her husband and her sons, they were living a noble life as such, right? They were living a noble, decent life as such. So at times, even the noble living will have its own divine gifts. Someday I'm going to talk about one more great spiritual mentor of mine. She is called as Sadhana Malya. I'm going to talk about her in future because her story is much more wonderful than any of these stories. And she is also right now available if you want to meet her, if you want to contact her, or if you want to attend her sessions. That is also possible, but you'll have to wait for some time until I tell her life's account. Now, whether Khorshad Bhavnagari or Sadhana Malya, they are not great spiritual masters, but they are noble people and they also will have divine gifts as such. That is why in every religion or in every spiritual faith system, what has been advised by the masters? It has been advised that first live a life of good character, first live a life of good morality, live a life of good ethics, love thy neighbor as you love yourself, has been told in the scriptures, right? Do unto others that what you want to be done unto you is also told in the scriptures, right? Moses has given the 10 commandments to the earth, right? So in all the scriptures, in all the religious faiths, in all the spiritual systems, what has been told? It has been told that Don't live like animals. First live like humans. Gradually become better human beings. But I am seeing that most of the people are living worse than animals. Many times, animals will be better than human beings. If at all I call somebody as a pig, now the pig may become angry, saying that, pig will say, why are you comparing me with him? Isn't it? If at all I call somebody as a fox, now the fox may say and tell me, why are you comparing myself with her or him? That way, many human beings are living a worse life than the animals, because animals do not tell lies, animals do not do any cheating, animals do not do any backstabbing or front stabbing, animals do not steal any money, right? Animals do not drink liquor, isn't it? Animals do not smoke any cigarettes, animals are not involved in gambling. Who are all involved? When human beings are involved in all these immoral, unethical activities, we should say that animals are better than human beings. That is when all the faith systems all over the world have been giving stress and importance about noble way of living. And the noble way of living has got its own divine gifts. That is how Khurshid Bhavnagri was gifted, and even Sadhana Malliya was gifted. Let me come to the sixth book called The Third Eye, written by Tuesday Lobsang Rampa. This Lobsang Rampa was a Tibetan yogi, Tibetan master. I had told about Rampa in one of my previous sessions, where a small surgery was performed on his forehead to open his third eye. Now, to understand the complete process, you will have to read this particular wonderful book called The Third Eye. And I should also say that all of the books written by this Lobsang Rampa can be freely downloaded from the internet resources, and you can read all of his books. Coming to the last book, Yoga, Enlightenment and Perfection. This is published by Shree Vidyatirtha Foundation, and this is the life account of Abhinava Vidyatirtha. He was the guru of the present pontiff of Sringeri, Sri Bharati Tirtha. Abhinava Vidyatirtha's guru was the great light of Sringeri. He was Chandrasekhara Bharati. Now, this particular book is the life account of Abhinava Vidyatirtha and his relationship with his own guru, Chandrasekhara Bharati. I'll have to tell about these two great holy people now. One day, Chandrasekhara Bharati initiated Abhinava Vidyatirtha into a specific type of meditation called Bhujagabhushana Dhyana. Bhujagabhushana Dhyana means the meditation on the form of Shiva. Shiva is called as Bhujagabhushana. Bhujaga means serpent. The one who is using the serpent as a garland in his neck, he is called Bhujagabhushana, nothing but Shiva. If at all you go to Sringeri, on one side there is a temple, on the other side of the river, there is a place called Narasimhavana. Now that particular place is full of buildings. But at the time of Chandrasekhara Bharati, that place was still having hillocks and trees, a small forest there. But Chandrasekhara Bharati was staying in a small hermitage, that place only. And one day Abhinava Vidyatirtha went into the small forest which was adjacent, and he sat in Padmasana there, and he was meditating on this particular form of Shiva called Bhujagabhushana. Nearly half an hour to 1 hour passed, and Abhinava Vidyatirtha was fully absorbed in this particular meditation on the form of Shiva. After some time, suddenly, around his neck, something very cool around his neck. Slowly, Abhinava Vidyatirtha opened his eyes, and he is seeing that there is really a serpent around his neck. But Abhinava Vidyatirtha was not afraid, because when yogis get into dhyana and get into samadhi, they lose the fear of death. Because death occurs only to the physical body, right? From Annamaya to Pranamaya, Pranamaya to Manomaya, Manomaya to Vijnanamaya, Vijnanamaya to Anandamaya. What is death now? There is no death as such. There is only a movement from one sheath to another sheath. So when yogis get into dhyana and samadhi, they many times will have out-of-body experiences, and they will not have the fear of physical death. Abhinava Vidyatirtha was not afraid. He was just watching what this serpent or snake will do. And immediately snake also sensed that the person has woken up. And the snake slowly descended down and went back into the forest. After some time, Abhinava Vidyatirtha slowly stood up and he came back to the hermitage. When he was coming back to the hermitage, at the main door, Chandrasekhara Bharati was standing and he was smiling at his student. Abhinava Vidyatirtha went all the way and asked his guru, "Why are you smiling?" Then Chandrasekhara Bharati told, "Today you practiced Bhujagabhushana Dhyana and Bhujaga really came on your neck, right?" Abhinava Vidyatirtha smiled and told, "Yes." Now Chandrasekhara Bharati was sitting inside the hermitage. Student was sitting on the hillock. Guru was having a Manasa Diksha with the Shishya. That was the greatness of these two holy people. Now the Shishya, Abhinava Vidyatirtha, asked Chandrasekhara Bharati, "Why the serpent came on my neck? How come?" Now Chandrasekhara Bharati told, "You have been involved in Bhujagabhushana Dhyana and you have been always thinking of the form of Shiva. And in the form of Shiva, you also visualized the snake around Shiva's neck. Naturally, your mental vibration or your mental intention gradually spread around you, and somewhere around you, there was this particular serpent. It was involuntarily attracted towards you because you were actually meditating on the form of a person having snake around the neck. An animal being of a lower intellectual nature than a human being. You actually attracted it towards you, and without its own intention, the snake gradually came near you, it gradually climbed your body, and it went around your neck because you programmed its mind at that time. Your Manomaya Kosha expanded around, and that is how it got attracted towards you. As you did not have any harmful intention there, even the snake did not harm you anyway. Actually, the snake was not knowing that it is coming around your neck. Without its own knowledge, it was attracted towards you. Gradually, when you woke up, gradually snake also came to know that it is also on some other human's body, and gradually the snake regained its own normal composure and the snake went away. My dear friends, these are the powers of meditation. And these are the accounts. Unless I tell them to you, you may never come to know about these things. All these 7 holy books, I have read it, I have appreciated it. Out of so many books which I have read, I have listed these 7 books. Until you read all these 7 books, you may not appreciate these books also. Now it becomes your primary job to have at least these 7 books in your house. And if required, you buy more of these books and give them as gifts to your friends and relatives without bothering about their reaction towards you. Now, when I tell you all these things, I don't really bother about your reactions towards me. How will you understand me? When you don't understand yourself, how can I expect you to understand me? That I don't expect also that way. People keep on reading so many things daily. Now everyone has to read these 7 books. I should also tell you more about Chandrasekhara Bharati. Chandrasekhara Bharati used to meditate heavily. In whatever way the Upanishads used to prescribe, he used to actually practice all of that. He never saw Saraswathee in the stone structure or in the temple. Actually, he had realized Saraswathee within himself. So Chandrasekhara Bharati never used to come out of the Narasimhavana. He stopped coming to the temple and he stopped worshipping Sharadamba, who is at the temple. Now, in general, the people at the hermitage or the people around him thought that Swami has gone mad. This Swami is no more worshipping Sharadamba. That is what they thought. People think that Sharadamba is in the stone statue in the temple. The real Sharadamba is in life, not in non-living matters. But general people do not understand all these spiritual facts. They look for God in stone structures only. They don't see the real God who is in life. So when people started telling all these things, gradually the king of Mysore sent one doctor to treat Chandrasekhara Bharati, thinking that Chandrasekhara Bharati has gone insane. And the doctor came to Sringeri. He stayed with the Swamiji for nearly 1 month. And in this 1 month, the doctor kept on checking Chandrasekhara Bharati's health. Chandrasekhara Bharati was perfectly all right physically and mentally. He was perfectly all right. In whatever way people had thought that Swami had become insane, it was not so actually. After about a month, the doctor prepared his own report that Chandrasekhara Bharati is all right physically and mentally, and he wanted to go back and report it to the Mysore's king. Before going back, he went to meet Chandrasekhara Bharati once again, seeking his blessings. Now Chandrasekhara Bharati smiled at him and asked, "Did you treat me all right? Now am I all right? I was sick 1 month before, right? Now because of your treatment, have I become all right?" Doctor prostrated in front of the Swamiji, and the doctor told, "Swamiji, because of my contact with you, now I have become all right. It is the other people who are mad. Now, I came here with an arrogance of a doctor that I'll have to treat one patient. I came to know that I myself was the patient and you became my doctor. I got treatment from you. Now I have become all right." That was the greatness of Chandrasekhar Bharati. Whenever I go to Sringeri only for remembering these two people again, Chandrasekhar Bharati and Abhinava Vidyatirtha. And whenever I go to Sringeri, I pay obeisances to the great Jagat Guru Adi Shankara, who started the hermitage at Sringeri. Whenever you people go there, you just visit Narasimhavana also, and you visit a particular place where there are small steps leading to the Tunga river at the Narasimhavana, not at the other side, not at the temple side, at the other side. And when you go there are small steps there leading to the Tunga river. You just sit there for some time and you remember whatever I have told you now. Why I am telling you? There is a reason. Chandrasekhar Bharati used to wake up very early in the morning and he used to go to the Tunga river, have a dip in the Tunga river and meditate there for some time until the daybreak. This was his usual practice. And along with him, his disciples also used to wake up very early in the morning. One day, early in the morning, around 4:30, Chandrasekhar Bharati along with his disciples went to the Tunga river and they had a small dip in the Tunga river. Then Chandrasekhar Bharati came up and sat on a particular stone for meditation, which was his usual practice. He was sitting in Padmasana and he was meditating, and his disciples were sitting adjacent somewhere. After some time, suddenly the disciples heard a splashing sound. It was not still daybreak, still some darkness was there. They heard some splashing sound. Suddenly they opened their eyes and they came to see their guru's body was falling into Tunga river, because of which the splashing sound came. Immediately all the disciples went into the river and gradually they picked up their guru's body, but Guru had left his body. The Guru had decided on that particular day that he should sit for meditation adjacent to the river and he should leave the body. By means of Yoga Samadhi, he left his body, and after he left his body, the body simply toppled down into the Tunga river and the body was still in Padmasana. Next time when you go to Sringeri, go to that particular place. There is still that small stone, but there is no board there. There is no mark there. Nothing is there. But the place is still there. When you go there, sit there for some time and remember the crushed jewel of Sringeri, that is Sri Chandrasekhar Bharati. Now, my dear friends, spiritual science is a much vaster science than the material science. It is not so easy to understand all the facts of spiritual science in one lifetime. But at least in some lifetime, the initiation should happen, right? At least in some lifetime, you should start learning about the self. You should start learning about the divinity. You should start learning about the universal consciousness. When will you learn? It is better that you start learning at least in this lifetime. Otherwise, the cycle of karma will continue and the law of karma will take its own course. On my part, I am trying to teach you people some good things. On your part, you should gradually learn these good things. Otherwise, time will go. 2019 went, 2020 came. 2020 will go, 2021 will come. Simply like that, 2030 will also come, 2040 will also come, 2050 will also come. Simply like that, months will go by, years will go by, decades will go by, even centuries will go by. Time will pass just like that without our knowledge. Unless the time is utilized for spiritual learning, what else are you going to learn? So, my dear friends, now it becomes your primary duty, primary responsibility, primary commitment that you will read all these 7 books. And you will preserve these 7 books in your home. Now I am coming to one very special book, that is Kannada book. Unfortunately, many Kannadigas don't know that such a book exists. I have read this book many times, and one of my students, Rajashekhar, has gifted this particular book to the guests who came to his son's birthday party. This particular book is called as Yegdagella Aite. It is in a Gramya dialect, means it is one type of rural pronunciation. Yogadalli ellavu ide is told in a different dialect as Yegdagella Aite. Everything is there in yoga, is the meaning of this sentence. This particular book is the life story. I should not say life story. It is the description of the interaction between Belagare Krishna Shastri and one Swami called Mukundur Swami. You are seeing the picture of the same Mukundur Swami. His full name is Shree 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 Basavalinga Deshikendra Mahashiva Yogigalu Chidanandashrama Malledevarapura. In that particular place, there is a big hill, and in the hill, there are some caves. There are about 2 caves, one at the top, one at the bottom. This Swami used to stay in those caves or on the hillock for many years. Then gradually he shifted that place to some other place called Margondanahalli near Banavara. I had told you about him earlier also in one of the sessions. He came to be called as Mukundur Swami. And this particular book was written by Belagare Krishna Shastri, who was a school teacher at Margondanahalli. And that is where he came in contact with this Swamiji. I have visited to both the places along with my students. If any of you are willing, you can also visit to both the places whenever you find comfortable time. Let me tell about this book, and let me tell about the teachings of this particular special Swamiji. His name was Sri Basavalinga Shiva Yogi, or also called as Mukundur Swami. After the initiation at 60 years, he was initiated into the practice of yoga at the age of 60 years. Okay. Who says that there is an age limit for yoga? Now, this Swami was initiated into yoga. It was basically Shiva Yoga. Shiva Yoga is basically the Shaiva system. After the initiation at 60 years, he spent nearly 20 years in penance, settled at Malledevarapura, and established Chidananda Ashrama at the bottom of the hill. There he stayed for 25 years. Later on, in this place when he was staying, people used to always trouble him in one way or the other. People used to mock at him and people used to disturb him. So one day he thought, it is enough to stay here, let me move on to some other place. Then later on, he lived in a graveyard Below the graveyard, he dug up one small cave-like structure, and in that cave-like structure, he used to meditate. Lived in a graveyard at Maragondanhalli for 35 years. Left his body in 1968 AD. Lived for 140 years as a simple miracle. He lived for 140 years. This is that particular book, very special Kannada book called Yegdagella Aite, written by Belagere Krishna Shastri. And I am showing you the front page of this, or the cover page of this particular book, Yegdagella Aite. Now, all the Kannadigas who are listening to my session should buy this book and read this book at one shot. It's a very small book. This is a picture where at the back side you can see Belagare Krishna Swami. And always Mukundur Swami used to have a humorous dialogue with Belagare Krishna Shastri. When Belagare Krishna Shastri asked this Swami, let us have a photograph, then Swami used to laugh and say, he used to say, you will take a photograph and you will keep me inside there. And after the photograph session was over, he again used to laugh and he used you put me inside, you put me inside. And he used to laugh. I should tell which happened first time with this Belagare Krishna Shastri. He was transferred to this particular place called Maragondanhalli, and there was a nearby village called Devanur. And the nearby Gauda one day told Belagare Krishna Shastri that you should meet one Swami. And as Krishna Shastri was a school teacher, he had his own little bit of ego and arrogance. And actually, he used to discard all the Swamis at that time. He had an opinion that all the Swamis are cheats or all the Swamis are fake. That was his opinion. And when these Gaudas used to say that this Swami is not like that, you should meet this particular Swami, Krishna Shastri used to say, let him come, I'll watch, I'll see, let him come. That way, arrogantly, he used to tell. One day, when Krishna Shastri in the early morning, when he woke up, he saw one old man, the same old man, the same Swami. Old man there in front of his room. And Krishna Shastri actually was sleeping in the early morning, and he was still in that dizzy mood. And when this Krishna Shastri asked him, who are you? Why have you come? And then this Swami simply told one sentence in Kannada that I have listed in my next slide. ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹಂಬಲ್ಸ್ಕೊಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಂದಾಗ ಹೊದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. Let me see that. I have it here. See? Though in Kannada, you will have to excuse me, but I am going to read it. Mukundur Swamigala Nudimuttugalu. The pearl statements of Mukundur Swami. The very first one is, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹಂಬಲ್ಸ್ಕೊಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹೊದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಲ್ಬೋದು. Very meaningful sentence. He told, you have been thinking about me, that's why I came to meet you. Now when I come to meet you, you are simply sleeping. That means, when this teacher Krishna Shastri was thinking that he should meet Mukundur Swami, now Mukundur Swami was meditating in a graveyard, somehow he sensed that this teacher wants to meet me. In front of the teacher's room. Who gave the address of the teacher's room to the Swami? Nobody gave. Nobody gave. Swami suddenly appeared. Actually, that was his normal habit. Suddenly, he used to appear in front of the villagers. He used to spend some pastime with the villagers. He used to have some fun and humor, sometimes singing, sometimes dancing. Then he used to suddenly disappear also. He used to go back to his graveyard and he used to stay there. There are so many very good spiritual accounts of this Swami in this particular Kannada book. That's why I am telling to all the Kannada listeners. I am not just telling. It is my order, it is my command that you should buy this book and you should read this book at one shot itself. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹೊದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಲ್ಬೋದು. When I was there elsewhere, you keep on thinking about me. When I come very near to you, you are simply sleeping inside the rug. This is a highly philosophical sentence. This also means to all of us. Whenever someone is far away, we keep on thinking about them. When the same person comes very near to us, let us say he stays there for 2-3 days more, looking for the person when he was far away. Simply, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹಂಬಲ್ಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹೊದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಲ್ಬಹುದು. Whenever we have a great person very near to us, we don't care for him or her. Whereas some person may not be great, may not be spiritual. We don't know. When they are far away, we think as if that person is great and we want to meet that person. This has happened with me also many times. They don't have a real value in their heart towards me. Many times they ignore me. Many times they deceive me also. Many people who are very, very much nearer to me, except for my yoga students, most of the other people really don't know about my own personality. When they don't understand themselves, how will they understand me? That is the basic question there. Now, all these people who are around me, they'll be looking for greatness or spirituality with someone else who are there somewhere else. They'll keep on attending so many workshops organized in star hotels. They'll keep on going for pilgrimages for different places. And they'll keep on attending workshops on Bhagavad Gita also. At times with the whiskey glass in their hand. Yes, my dear friends, it is true. There are people who will have whiskey glass in their hands, still they speak of Bhagavad Gita. There are people who have married and divorced 3 times, and such people also take classes on Bhagavad Gita. That is the funny part of it. Let me not talk of all those people. That is not my domain as such. It is up to them to live their own way, and it is up to them to have their karma as well to work that way. But this particular sentence is, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹಂಬಲಿಸ್ಕೊಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹೊದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಲ್ಬಹುದು. Whenever I am there elsewhere, you keep on longing for me. When I come very near to you, you ignore me. This is the first sentence. Now, that was the very first meeting between Belagara Krishna Shastri and Mukundur Swami. Later on, until Mukundur Swami left his body, Belagara Krishna Shastri and Mukundur Swami had continuous contact. Initially, Krishna Shastri used to have a negative attitude toward all these Swamis, and he used to think that all Swamis are fakes and cheats. He completely got transformed just because of the contact with this Mukundur Swami. Belagara Krishna Shastri completely got changed. Now, there are many other sentences in this particular book. I have listed some of them here, even in the next slide. The second sentence is, ಮೊದಲು ಒಂದೇ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಕಡೆಗೂ ಒಂದೇ ಉಳಿತು. In the beginning also it was one, finally also only one remained. What a great meaning. In the beginning also it was one. Divinity is one. God is one. Advaita is one. That Advaita became Dvaita in so many bodies in the physical forms. The united one, the single one, became fragments in many living bodies. ಮೊದಲು ಒಂದೇ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು ಕಡೆಗೂ ಒಂದೇ ಉಳಿತು. At the end also, only one remained. In the sense, it may become myriads of life forms like Udbija, Svedaja, Andaja, Jarayuja, Manuja. Ultimately, it remains as one only at the end as well. Now the one became many, and because of the transformation of materials, because of the creation of life forms. When all these life forms perish, at the end also, it will remain one only. So the secret of Advaita has been told by this Mukunda Swami in this particular Kannada sentence, which looks as if an unrefined Kannada language. That Yekdagalla Aite itself seems like an unrefined Kannada language. But that itself is a great sentence. Yogadalli ellavu ide. Everything is there in yoga. The third sentence, Yadyano dasa hegal mel kadasa. That is how this Mukunda Swami used to live. Yadyano dasa. Did you wake up, servant? Hegal mele kadasa. On the shoulder, the kadasa. Kadasa means that sack in for the person is there. So that is how this Swami used to live. He never was attached into any ashram. He never established any big hermitages. He never wrote any big books. He never wrote any poems as well. He was simply living like an avadhuta. In the sense, he had no disciples also. In fact, as long as he was living, people used to trouble him more. Maybe find there to trouble him. If I have to tell you an example, earlier when he was staying at Malledevrapura in a hillock, in a cave, there is that Hemavati river flowing nearer. So every day, Swami used to go all the way, walk from the hill till the Hemavati river, and in the Hemavati river, he used to have a good bath and a swim, then he used to come back daily. The villagers there used to always take bath in the river, then he comes back. One particular villager, he started mocking the Swami, and one day when the Swami was coming back, the villager in a Kannada slang asked him, "Hey Swami, Abhishek aito?" What Swami? This Abhisheka was over, or immersement into the water was over. He simply mocked at the Swami. Now Swami told, "Nanna Abhisheka ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೋ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ? ನಿನ್ನ ಹೊಲ ಹೊತ್ತಿ ಉರಿತಿದೆ ನೋಡು. Water, your crops are burning, just see there." And the villager or the farmer looked aside. He saw as if the whole crops are burning and his complete agricultural produce is becoming waste. He started shouting, he started crying, and the Swami simply came this side. He started shouting and he called all other villagers and told, "The Swami has put fire onto my crops." He started shouting. All the villagers called Swami once again. And until then, the villager was really seeing the crops burning. The Swami came back. When Swami came back, villagers asked him, "Why did you put fire into his crops?" Then Swami told, Where? Naneli benki kotte. Tirg nodi alle aite alla. Where did I put fire? When did I put fire? Just turn back and see, all the crops are there only. All the crops were exactly as they were earlier. There was no fire. Actually, just to shatter the arrogance of that particular farmer, Swami had created an illusion at that time by means of his mystical powers. Just like Mahatar Babaji had created an illusion of palace for Lahiri Mahashaya. In the same way, here with a different purpose, Mukunda Swami had created an illusion. Now later on, villagers understood that he is a great avadhuta. We should not declare. He left that place and he went to Margondanhalli. He stayed in a graveyard there. So he simply says, Yedyeno dasa, Hegel mel kadasa. Means, if I stand up, I will have my sack, I will simply go away anywhere. I need not be bound by any village, I need not be bound by any desire for property or disciples or hermitage or whatever. He simply lived like a miracle. The fourth onwards, let me discuss them in tomorrow's session. Let me end today's session. See you tomorrow.